Hello, and welcome back, good people, to what I hope is the last day of this project. So I spent a little bit this morning putting in the new water pump. That really wasn't part of the, the timing deal of this project. But sorry, I'm on a squeaky scooter. But I wanted to take a moment to complain about this if I could. So this water pump, which is right here, that's the part I replaced, came as a kit. And the kit came with the gasket. Here's the old part. Sits in there like that. Oh, excuse me. Sits in there like that. And it came with the gasket that sits here. And it came with that, well, that's kind of an O-ring. It also came with that O-ring that sits in there. Now that O-ring that sits in there connects to a flange on the engine. Let's see if I can't show you. I've now started to put more of this together, but I wanted to show you before. You can barely see it back there. There's a flange with a bolt, and then there's another bolt up here, way back in there. There's a flange there. Anyway, so that flange connects this part right here to the block. Like imagine the block is here and there's two bolts here and there's a flange that just goes over that. You can take this out without taking that flange loose, without disturbing that seal, but you will never get that O-ring back into place without taking that flange off of there. And on that flange, there's another O-ring. It's just I think it's a 222, if I recall correctly. Pretty common size O-ring. But why can't they just include all the parts you're likely to use when you're doing a job like this? Anyway, whining done. So we have the new water pump in place. It's got grease prints all over it. We got the new water pump in place. I already started putting in parts of the intake here. This is a little shoulder bolt that you want to push in on this plastic part, push it in as you're threading this. Well, here, I can show you. See, that's a shoulder bolt, and it goes in here. That's the only thing that holds on the bottom part of this intake. And you just want to make sure that that hole is centered before torquing that bolt. So we have this part of the intake is already gone on up kind of as uniformly as I can. Now this guy back here is a little tricky to get to. Here, I'll show you this one I'm trying to get. It's that guy right there. This thing is only on here with 3 nuts. There's a nut, there's a nut, and there's one right there. That's the one I'm trying to get. I can only get a little swing at it at a time. All right, now I'm going to put the throttle body in, which is right here. So there was a hose. Crap, I lost the hose. So then that goes on here. We need a pair of pliers for that clamp. Here's a pair of, whoops. Here's a pair of pliers right here. We'll get this clamp on. I don't know, is this hose for vacuum sensing or it wouldn't be for fuel. Oh, just moved it out of somewhere. Oh, just sort of untucked it from where it was. That's okay. Little spring clamps. There. Oh, and there's also a plug. Where's a plug? Is there a plug floating around under there? There it is. Get this plug. Not too tight on that. Snug is the name of the game here, I think. Snug. Okay, so that's in. Let me tighten up this shoulder bolt right there. All right, so that's all in. Now, it's time. Oh, let's do this. This tube right here. So this guy, how's this guy go? Oh, this. How does this go? What? So we need a clamp down here. I don't have a clamp. I don't think that ever did. I remember there was a clamp up here, but this guy never had a clamp down there. Down there. Made it sound a little racy. Welcome back. Well, we are at moment of truth time. I put a whole quart of oil in to even start to get some to show on the dipstick. And there's definitely oil in there. I may have now overfilled it actually. But we can figure that out later, a little bit later. I put these brackets on because I had those brackets left over on my table and I'm thinking, where the hell do those go? I'm thinking it's moment of truth time. I just reconnected up the battery. Let's give it a go. My dome lights are on, so that's a good thing. Here's my key. And then neutral. Okay, here goes. The check engine light is out. The temperature sender shows neg 40. I'm putting it into first gear. Huh, the wheels are turning. All right, well, I certainly don't want to run it too long. It doesn't have any coolant in it. Well, it ran. And goes something like that. Setting on those studs. Let me get a nut on there so it doesn't come flying off. Okay, a lot of coolant coming out. All right. Maybe that was just air. Maybe that's all that was. Wow, that hose is definitely hot now. Oh yeah, we got heat. Let's turn this heat off. There. Oof.
$2,000 later.
That's it. We're done. I went ahead and put the front end back together. The bumper and the bumper support and the little spoiler underneath and all those little tiny screws and fasteners that go everywhere. That was not terribly exciting, so I didn't bother filming it. Did just take it out for a test run. It starts, runs, drives just fine. So there seems to be no trouble with the clutch or the transmission or anything, which is good. We do still have one trouble code that has to do with the outside air temperature sensor, which is right here behind the bumper. Now that sensor was unplugged for a few cycles of the engine. In other words, that's why it's a confirmed code, not a pending code. So I believe I've plugged it in. I believe I've relieved the code problem. So the code should go away, but we're going to run it tomorrow just to be on the safe side and make sure that the code goes away. In any case, that's it. We're all done. It was took me a total of 19 hours, and that was not including a whole lot of messing around with the subframe. That burned up a lot of time making those mistakes with the subframe, with the wiring, routing the wiring correctly. In any case, that is including the water pump also, by the way. So we'll say 18 hours if you take out the water pump. That's how long it would have taken me to do this job. And I can't believe that if it took me 18 hours, I can't believe that it would take a experienced mechanic any more than 2 days or 16 hours, probably even less, because they would have a lift and probably, whatever specialty tools you need. I just use regular old hand tools, nothing special about them. So I really don't see why it would take an experienced guy longer than 2 days to do this job, working 8-hour shifts. So we do a little math. If this thing was quoted at $5,000, let's just say the parts were $1,000, that's $4,000 for 16 hours. That's in the neighborhood of $250 an hour that they're charging. That's more than twice what I charge. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So I think we're going to take this car out of here tomorrow, but stay tuned because what's coming up next is a Ford tractor that I'm pretty sure we're going to end up splitting this tractor. It's not going into 4-wheel drive. Could be something simple, but hopefully it's something interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.